World Championship. Let's go ahead and follow these along. Opening rounds, we like to call those the ink pools. That'll be turf war. Teams play 2 matches and a mini seeding bracket. After play, the teams will then be ranked by their win-loss record. The semifinals, ranked battle, the matchups seed 1 versus 4 and 2 versus 3, and then an elimination best of 5, which will lead us to our 2 teams for the grand finals tomorrow, which will be a best of 7. Kicking off at 1 p.m. tomorrow. And you look at the seeding schedule here, we've got a couple teams that are ready to go, but let's walk you through the first 4 matchups that we'll have in this opening round of Turf War. You see match 1, Set to Destroy X, representing the USA, taking on the Back Squids, representing Europe, and then the GG Boys from Japan, taking on Yeah Nah from Australia, New Zealand, and match 2. You'll see match 3, you take the loser of match 1 and the loser of match 2, and then match 4 will be the winner of match 1 and the winner of match 2. Now, we talk about Turf War here. A lot of these players are obviously very familiar with it, and many people that get their introduction to Splatoon 2 have played Turf War, so let's take a look at the basic concepts of what we're trying to do here in Turf War. Well, you guessed it, cover as much of the stage as possible in your team's ink in 3 minutes. Whichever team has the most ink on the ground at the end of the match wins. Now, Ashley, a pretty basic concept, but you look at these professionals and it is much more than just that.
That's right. When you're playing at this high of a level, Turf War is not as easy as it seems. And of course, these 2 teams are going to look to establish positioning very early on and hold those spots so that they can put down as much ink as possible.
And to that point as well, the music change in the last minute is not just for show. Believe me, the last 30 seconds, the most important part of Turf War. You have to make sure that you're in the right spot to stop the enemy push, then save your specials, because it's all about who's ahead at the end.
We heard about the team names, but let's take a moment to get to know the squads just a little bit better with a quick look at them.
Ink. Used in ancient cultures to write sacred texts. It drips. Sometimes it drops. Early monks used it to create quiet masterpieces. Gutenberg pressed it. And today, we use ink to determine the winner of the Splatoon 2 World Championship, where 4 teams come together to compete for the coveted Sterling Squid. Representing Japan are the GG Boys. Dynamon returns with his new team after splatting out over 800 teams in Japan and is now looking to bring that Sterling Squid home.
I am Dynamo.
Etona. Taish. Yamamichi.
We are GG Boys.
And representing Australia, New Zealand is Yeah Nah.
1, 2, 3. Were we all meant to go at 3?
Arriving as the undefeated champions of the 2018 AUNZ Splatoon 2 Cup, this new team includes 2017 Invitational participant Latias. Just kidding, Latias, who returns with the goal of scoring key upsets.
Hi, I'm Gabe.
Hi, I'm Ladias.
Totally. River.
And I'm FLC.
And we're Team Yeah Nah.
Representing the United States and Canada is Set to Destroy X. After the US defeated Japan in the 2017 Splatoon 2 World Inkling Invitational, key members of the US team became Set to Destroy X and continued their dominance by winning tournament after tournament after tournament. It was a lot of tournaments. The US is now ready to defend their title.
Hi, I'm Penguin.
Hi, I'm Kiev.
I'm Fuzzy.
I'm Hexen, and we are Set to Destroy X.
That was awesome.
Dude, wow.
Representing Europe is Back Squids. The winners of the Splatoon European Championship, this German team brings a fresh name and team spirit aplenty as they take on the rest of the world. Hey, you're supposed to smile here.
He's smiling.
Hi, I'm Dean.
I'm Eiko.
I'm Watson.
I'm Kaito.
And I'm Magic K. Rose.
And we are the Back Squids.
Now that we've met our teams, it's time to split!
It's great to establish an emotional connection with all of our teams right there as we get set for our first match. You've got Set to Destroy X from Team USA taking on the Back Squids from Team Europe. And 9, I want to talk about these special communication devices they'll be using as they get set to play here.
Right, these teams have a special communication device tailored specifically for this tournament. I don't know if you can see them down there, but there are some 6 Splatoon 2 World Championship decals on the side, and communication so important in any team-based shooter, but especially this. There's only 4 members. They all have to be informed.
Players getting their gear ready right now, and as far as the level selection, they'll be starting off on Piranha Pit. That was won by a coin toss by Team USA in the back, so we'll get a chance to look at that level. And you look at the different abilities in gear, what do you think lends itself well to Turf War here, Ashley?
I think for Turf War, you're looking for things like, you know, swim speed. I always love swim speed. You can get back into the action quickly. I know we're going to probably see a lot of maybe super quick jump. I mean, there's a lot of different things you could pick, but the one thing that we won't be seeing, 9, as we were talking about, is sub-abilities. We
will not be seeing sub-abilities today. Sub-abilities are disabled, so it's important to place the abilities that you are allowed to use on a premium, because you only get 3.
Right.
And I want to talk about the final 30 seconds of the match here, because we oftentimes say in Turf War, that's when it's make or break time there, 9. What are these teams trying to establish in those final ticks on the clock?
Well, first of all, they want to position themselves properly. Everyone knows that when you're pushed back, you have to find a way back in. What beats that? Positioning. And on top of that, you need to have your specials. You know that the opponent is going to come out with specials. You have to have yours at the ready to counteract theirs.
Players making their final adjustments and getting back to communication, we oftentimes talked about as well, too. That's one of the key features of these professional teams here, Ashley, their ability to talk and chat with one another and recognize threats.
Yeah, of course. I mean, anybody who is playing Splatoon, you always want to be talking to your teammates, right? I know that I always play with my best friend. We're talking to each other in voice chat. We're telling each other, hey, there's someone on the left, there's someone on the right, there's someone on, you know, let's go flank. So it's an important feature. And with these guys, they are at the top of it.
Let's get started with our first match in the Splatoon 2 World Championship. We've got Turf War on Piranha Pit. You'll go ahead and look at your screen. You see Team USA set to destroy X in the pink, and then you've got the back squids in yellow. Looking at the loadout, what are you noticing right here, 9?
Well, you see set to destroy X running with 2 Rapid Blaster Pros. We're going to say that name a lot, and those who follow Splatoon know it is the dominant weapon currently in the meta. You see a Rapid Blaster on the side of back squids as well. Keep an eye on those weapons.
Majin already using the inkjet, able to get a splat on Wit right there. Going to go ahead and respond back to his spot right there. 4-3 advantage on the field for the back squids. And Ashley, we oftentimes talk about, yes, the 30 seconds are important at the end, but the first 30 to establish map control are just as important.
That's right. You want to be able to get your positioning in. You want to start building that special as quickly as humanly possible, but not so quickly that you are actually out of the action. You don't want to stay away. Oh, these good trade for trades.
Couple of trade for trades right there. 3-2 advantage on the field right now for the back squids. You see the bottom right of your screen. A lot of yellow on the map right now here, 9.
Yeah, it's getting scary. We talk about it. The last 30 seconds are important, but you can very much lose a match early on if you're not careful. I love what I'm seeing from back squids. You see themselves positioned. They don't have the 2 Rapid Blaster Pros, but they do have the Rapid Blaster. They're not being overly aggressive.
Majin doing a great job grabbing a couple of splats with that Rapid Blaster. Take a look at Fuzzy, an overhead view of the map. 4-4 on the field, 130 left in this one. Both teams vying for control, but it seems like actually the back squids have the early advantage in this one.
They do. They established it early on. They have that key splat with the inkjet, which I absolutely love that from a distance, but here we go. We're starting to see the specials come out from US.
Fuzzy deploying the Stingray right now, trying to create some space, and then the ink armor also being deployed, because here is set to destroy X, looking to make that counter push here as we approach a minute left here, 9.
And they sent 2 people on the left side of the map. We talked earlier about how you need to pair up if you want to make something happen. They did a great job sending both Fuzzy and Pengit to the bottom of the screen. That allowed them to get the advantage they now have.
4-4 on the map. Wit has an Ink Storm sent out right now. That's going to help cover some turf 4 set to destroy X. You look at the map in the bottom right, it's pretty even at this point. Wit using that super jump to avoid the Stingray. Falls behind the splash wall. Wonderful job right there. Oh, but another splat for splat. It's 2-1 though at this point here, 9. Here's where set to destroy X can make their push. But if you are the back squids, this is when you got to hold things down.
There's not going to be a lot of time for either side to build up their specials yet. It's all about holding on. You hear the crowd coming to a roar. Set to destroy X moving to the top of the screen. This is their play.
20 seconds left. 4-2 on the map, and this is the advantage that set to destroy X was looking for. Hexen using that Rapid Blaster, clearing some space out. Now just trying to cover as much yellow as he possibly can. We're now down to 8 seconds left. 4-3 on the field, back squids. Is it enough of an advantage to make a counter push? We will see. It's going to be close. 3-2, was it enough with the slosher at the end? Let's see what Judd has to say in match number 1. It's gonna be close. The furry paws hold the fate, and victory going to the back squids narrowly, and we saw that by the final couple of seconds right there, 9. That 3-2 advantage that was established, and a couple scoops of the bucket with the slosher.
Slightest of leads, but that's such a big map that it's hard to get to the other side. Even if you have the lead going into that, it's not safe. You have so much ground to cover. Set to Destroy X did a great job pushing back in without the use of their specials. You saw them put 3 people attacking 1 spot, but it was just the staggered trades here, trades there. Ultimately, it just wasn't enough.
And Ashley, we saw it was really the back squids, their ability to establish map control early in this one. It seemed like it put Set to Destroy X on the defensive for most of the map.
That early splat with that inkjet, I think, was really key. I think it hurt their ability, Set to Destroy X's ability, to set up any kind of positioning. They had to kind of fall back a little bit. It really gave back squids an advantage throughout the entire match.
And we talked about the trades and the splats that were going on. Let's take a look at our instant replay from that matchup. We'll zoom in here on Witt and see what he's doing in this Turf War matchup. And 9, why don't you go ahead and walk us through this as he lands on the super jump behind the splash wall.
So this was a really key moment because you see the slosher is pushed up in an aggressive position, and they also had just fired their Stingray as well. Even though Pengit went down right after doing that, that was their frontliner that they had sent out there. Cleaning that up without anybody going down really set the tone for them to make that late comeback. But again, it just wasn't enough.
And we saw a lot of splat for splats trades, as we said, Ashley, and really for Set to Destroy X, you're looking to try and get the splat, then make the push, but you don't get a chance to do that because the back squid's doing a great job of just playing defensive and making sure they secured the turf that they were able to grab.
Absolutely, and they won a lot of their one-on-ones, and if they didn't win the one-on-one, they took someone down with them, and I think that was such a smart move on their part. You know, they didn't get overly aggressive. They didn't try to get close to the, the base. Like, they just said, you know what, we got this. We're just gonna stay in the middle of the map. We're gonna control it, and that's it.
Let's get set for our second matchup. It's going to be Yeah Nah from Australia, New Zealand, taking on the GG boys from Japan. You look at the other matches, Set to Destroy X will be in match 3. They'll play the loser of this match, and then the back squids will play the winner of this match. And 9, Australia, New Zealand won the coin toss backstage, and they decided to go with Manta Maria. Your initial thoughts on this stage for Turf War?
Well, Charger. I don't know if Latias will be using that here today, but Manta Maria is such a well-balanced map. If you want to use a long-range weapon, you can go up to the top on that snipe area, the grading, and really make your presence felt. I think the spot they feel very comfortable, and we'll see if it pays off.
And it seems like in Manta Maria, if you can get the upper hand and have the higher elevation there, Ashley, your team's going to have a huge advantage.
Literally the upper hand. I mean, you've got a lot of verticality in this map. There's not a lot of ground space in the way of, you get to that center really quickly. So if you can get up high, you're definitely going to have an advantage with a slosher. You're going to have an advantage with a charger. You're going to have an advantage with any weapon that's going to put down a lot of ink.
And 9, I want to discuss some more about these main abilities because, as we said, you don't get the chance to load up 12 quick swim speeds, basically, and be swimming all over the level. You've got to be very judicious about what abilities you choose.
Right, and I think one of the most important abilities in the game right now is that quick respawn. It allows your frontliners, if they jump in to try to get back into the action, they get splatted, sent back to spawn. They're able to respawn very quickly, as it is called quick respawn, and they can jump back in and make their presence felt at sort of little to no risk. But because you're not able to stack that now, you've got to be a little more judicious with your jumps.
About a minute away from getting started here, we've got the GG boys of Japan taking on Yeah Nah from Australia, New Zealand, and you look at the GG boys, and 9, we discussed, they took out over 800 teams to qualify here for these World Championships.
800 teams down, 3 more to go. That is the game plan for them here, but it just shows how experienced they are. That was a live environment like this, lots of teams, a big crowd. This is not too big a stage for them.
The lobby is basically set to go. We're just waiting for one more check mark, and then we can get started here. Turf War on Manta Maria. We've got the GG boys from Japan taking on Yeah Nah from Australia, New Zealand. And we remember last year, the Aussies came in and they had quite the upset in Turf War early on, Ashley.
They indeed did. We saw a lot of great play from them. And honestly, I'm excited to see what's going to happen right now.
Well, let's get it started. Match number 2, GG boys from Japan. You'll see them in the blue or purple ink, however you portray it. And then the green ink will represent Yadna from Australia, New Zealand, and 9. Give us the breakdown on the initial loadout.
Well, you're seeing 2 Dynamo rollers in the action right now. You would not have seen that a couple patches ago, but these are pretty similar compositions. Both sides using a lot of dualies here. Their long-range weapons are going to be the jumping point, but we already see one going down.
Yamamichi with the nice splat, using those dualies and that mobility that he has. And Ashley, a lot of times, your ability to move around this stage is so critical to getting that advantage.
That's right, and Yamamichi has the dualies, which enables him to roll. So he's able to get those double rolls in there, make sure he can get away from people, and again, win those one-on-ones and convert to ink on the ground.
We've got an Inkjet versus a Stingray, as you see Latias up top with that heavy splatling, getting a nice job with that splatling right there. 2:15 left in this one. 4-3 advantage on the field for Yadna. You see their ability right now to use some of that range that they have here, 9, is giving them the early advantage.
And another reason that range is so good on this map is because it's a long map. They're going to need to jump back into the action, as we see Yamamichi getting another great splat. Both sides are doing a great job of not getting locked out. There's been big moments, but they haven't let go.
4-4 on the map, 150 left. Make that 3-3 now, as we have a couple of splats right here. Latias using that splatling on top of the grate in the middle of the pier here in Manta Maria, as she's trying to score her team a pivotal victory here in match number 2 of the Splatoon 2 World Championship. Overseeing a few things, you see FLC using that Dynamo roller. Oh, but a 2-for-1 splat, courtesy of Yamamichi once again, 9.
And they did a great job of moving in with the Stingray. Even if the Stingray isn't able to get the splats, it's a giant beam everyone's looking at that allowed them to push both of their dually players up and take that crucial position.
Yamamichi just marinating in that toxic miss, and he don't even care right now, as it's 4-4 on the field. Both teams trying to seize control of the middle of the map. You now have 4-3 advantage for GG Boys, as FLC trying to rain it down with that Dynamo. Oh, Dynamo versus Dynamo, as Dynamon keeps him at bay. But here comes the Inkjet with about a minute left here. Ashley, what needs to happen with the final push?
Well, I think Australia needs to get out there, and Yadna has got to start converting some of these one-on-ones. GG Boys are doing such a great job. They're being so aggressive. They're getting so far ahead that it's really hard for Australia to come around and flank.
You see the Ink Storm on port side right now. 35 seconds left in 9. It looks like with the 3-2 advantage, this is an opportunity for the GG Boys to strike.
It was, but you see all the frontliners went down just as we were saying that. The last one is Latias holding things down in the middle. She's not going to be able to do all the painting herself. They need to get in and get in quick.
18 seconds left. Ink armor deployed. Nice little overcoat for the GG Boys. Trying to get a few splats. Taiji unable to get the splat over there. You've got a 3-2 advantage on the field right now. 7 seconds left. Can GG Boys get the final push? Looks like they're able to get enough work done before the bell rang. Let's see what happens here as we go ahead and wrap up match number 2 between Japan and Australia, New Zealand. And the results are GG Boys with the victory, and they will move on to match 4 to take on the Back Squids. And so this was an example here, 9, of getting that final push with the last 30 seconds, and we saw that from the GG Boys. They got the numbers advantage, and those frontliners were able to advance.
And the frontliner versus frontliner battle really was the story there at the end. We said Latias was stranded by herself. It's because too many 1v1 victories coming from the dualies of GG Boys, and sometimes that's just how it goes.
And we saw Yamamichi with some big-time plays. Let's take a look at some of the action that was going on in this previous match. And you saw him with the dualies. And Ashley, a lot of times if you're one of those frontline players and you're the dualies, it's your job to go out there, get some ink out there, but also get some splats.
That's right. I mean, Yamamichi is so aggressive. I love watching him with those dualies. He's absolutely fantastic. Look at the aim with his Inkjet. I mean, it was just so much fun to watch him get out there and get those splats.
Well, as we get set for our third match, we will have Yadna from Australia, New Zealand, taking on Set to Destroy X from Team USA. And in order to determine the stage, our available stages left are Arowana Mall and Wahoo World. We will do a coin flip here in just a moment. And you will have Yadna, since they traveled the furthest here and put the most miles on the airplane to get here, they will get a chance to call the coin. And then, of course, match 4, Back Squids versus the GG Boys will have the remaining stage at that point. And it was interesting because we were talking about the Piranha Pit decision for Set to Destroy X here, 9, and they went with Piranha Pit because you eliminated the chargers in that level, but it wasn't able to work out for them.
No, it wasn't. And whenever you have a strong long-range threat, you want to pick a map that allows you to encroach on that, some flanking lanes, things that you can just kind of put some pressure on there artificially without having to run up and get them. But like you said, didn't quite work out here, and we saw this matchup last year, too.
Well, let's get set for our coin toss here. I believe we have our stagehand on stage set to go. We've got a couple of players for Set to Destroy X getting in the lobby here. Both sides of the coin were shown to Gabe. Gabe made his selection as far as which side will be chosen. And so obviously coin flips, very, very important when it comes to deciding a stage. It's been called. Nice catch. And it is the decision for Australia, New Zealand. They will get a chance to choose the stage. So will it be Arowana Mall or Wahoo World? And any thoughts on what they might be choosing here, Ashley, when you look at what they might be able to do?
I mean, if Latias wants to run a charger this time around.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
We've got the decision. Gabe has talked to his teammates. Secrets are being shared. They will be going with Arowana Mall will be the next stage decision for, I got to add a little drama right there. So let's do a little shopping here. You look at Arowana Mall and how it's going to play for both these teams. Your thoughts here, Nine?
It's a great map for anyone who plays a Splatling. It's so good. You have those long lanes, and it's a very long map as well, sort of like Manta Maria. We saw what the Stingray can do there. It's all the more powerful here.
Extra powerful
So
here.
the winner of this match will be our 3 seed. The loser of this match will be the 4 seed when we go to our best of 5 and some of those ranked modes. So obviously a lot at stake here as players are choosing their weapons and choosing their items. Ashley, anything you might see differently from Set to Destroy X as they get set for their second bout of Turf War?
I mean, I think that they're going to be a lot more aggressive in that first 30 seconds. These guys really do a great job of winning those one-on-ones, and I think we're going to see some. I think we might see some revenge play right here, where they're just like, we got to just come out hard and get in there. So I have a feeling we're going to see some very aggressive play.
And we've talked a little bit about the specials here, Nine, but we saw some Ink Jets, we saw some Ink Storms as well too. What else lends itself well to Turf War here?
Well, I say those are the big two. If you are not used to Inkjet, you will be very used to Inkjet by the end of this tournament. Inkjet, the most popular special in the game now by a country mile. But I think we might see some Bomb Rush here. We know that one of the Rapid Blasters does have it. But ultimately, a lot of the popular picks right now do have those two specials.
And obviously, those specials will play a huge role. We also saw a lot of Ink Armor going out there as well, too.
Yeah.
And it seems like what we've seen in the first 2 matches is you want to establish stage control early, but once again, it always comes down to those final 30 seconds and making sure you can get that crucial number advantage.
Yep.
Let's get set for Turf War, Arowana Mall. We've got from Australia, New Zealand, taking on Set to Destroy X from Team USA. Taking a look at the loadouts, and Nine, break it down for us here.
Well, Set to Destroy X feels like it wasn't the composition that got to them last time. This is exactly what they ran, and it looks like the exact same comp here coming out as well from They like what they saw here. They just feel they need to execute.
And obviously the middle part of the stage is going to play a huge role in this level. Those 2 ramps that meet up to the middle, being able to control and have the high ground here will be a necessity, as we already see Latias with the Stingray.
Oh, wow. Again, that long, skinny map means that those are going to hurt.
You see the baller climbing up to the next level. Hexen going to go ahead and take the escort over there, avoiding the curling bomb. But here comes an Inkjet down the alleyway. Able to get 2 splats right there as the river is flowing at this point here, Nine.
Yeah, River, that was a really precarious position.
Beautiful.
If they lost that closed area, it was all going to be rough for them. River being able to get those 2 not only keeps it even, it gives them an advantage.
4-4 on the field, 2 minutes into this one. You look at the bottom right-hand corner of your screen, and you see the slight advantage right now at this point going to but both teams fighting for control of that middle area. We see Kyo using that slosher right now, trying to gain an advantage. Misses the splat right there. Oh, avoids some of the ink. Able to get up to the side of the wall right here. Is getting some pressure by River, but River, no! River getting splatted by the Rapid Blaster Pro. Hexen coming in and saving his teammate right there, Ashley.
Yeah, Hexen really came in and made a play there. And now he's cutting off the lane. He's cutting off that flank right there, and he's just gonna wait for someone to come on by and splat them.
Hexen trying to put some pressure on the spawn here. Meanwhile, using that splash wall to provide some protection right now, keep some of the teammates at bay. Here comes Kyo to provide some backup. That sprinkler popping in. And then you see the squid beacon as well. Oh, Kyo with the splat from up above with the slosher, trying to avoid some of that ink raining down. Has the baller ready to go and gonna ride that all the way up to the ramp. About a minute left here, 4-4 on the field. Kyo trying to be as economical as possible with that baller. And both teams doing a great job here, Nine, of staying alive in the final minute.
Yep. This is where it all comes down to. They have two rapid pros like we've mentioned, so it's going to be very difficult for them to climb that mountain. FLC getting a critical splat right there. That's going to give them at least a little bit of breathing room, but this center is filled with members of Set to Destroy X.
FLC putting in work right now. Gets splatted, but took out a couple of members of Set to Destroy X. Both teams is going to come down to the middle ground at the top of both ramps here, and Ashley, now it's a 4-2 advantage for Set to Destroy.
In the last 20 seconds, you can't go down. Two squids. It's really tough to come back from that, and you can see US Set to Destroy X putting down tons of ink in the last 10 seconds.
Here comes that push from Set to Destroy X. All four members on the field. Latias trying to do all that she can. Gets a splat right there, but might not be enough time left as we take a look at the final results, and it seems like Set to Destroy X was able to do what they needed to do at the end of this matchup. And there you have it, 60.4 to 33.2. And the execution by Set to Destroy X, especially at the end, they weren't discouraged when we saw FLC get a couple of critical splats with that roller.
And it's because they knew that the jumps were coming back in. When one of them goes down, when you have a double Rapid Blaster Pro composition, you know that if they come up the middle, they're going to take a lot of chip damage in doing so. You can safely jump in. You saw the wall, using that to allow the team to come up. Just great coordinated play.
And what we saw also was the ability to continue to apply that pressure, Ashley. And then finally, as we continue to talk about, it's been the theme of Turf War, getting a couple splats at the end to just even give you the 1 or 2 squid advantage. And then there comes that push, and you don't leave the other team enough time to make a comeback.
Yeah, I mean, if you splat one squid, that's maybe a swing of about 2 to 5% right in the last even just 10 seconds, depending on what weapon you're using. It might even be more than that. I mean, you could get up to, with 2 people down on the opposing team, you could look at a 15 to 20% swing really quickly.
Well, let's take a look back at a couple of critical plays in that match. And Nine, why don't you walk us through what we're seeing right here?
Well, things really started to go downhill for Yana when they lost this closed. And that's why earlier I mentioned it was so important that River was able to win this battle, because it really set the tone for the early part of the game. They were not able to make lightning strike twice, however, not able to defend it that second time.
And then Hexen up top here going against River, gets the splat on River as the inkjet is deployed. And you know how it is. If you can go ahead and cut into someone special like that, that is a huge momentum turner.
Right, and they spend so much time trying to build it up. And that was right after FLC had gotten those 2 awesome splats. If let's see, if Hexen had gone down in that situation, it really would have set the tone for the pushback from Yana, but able to get the splat that was necessary at that point really kind of shut things down.
So Set to Destroy X will take the 3rd seed. Yana will be the 4th seed as we get set for the semifinals, but we still need to determine who's going to be the 1st and 2nd seed, and we have the Back Squids taking on the GG Boys. The Back Squids with a flawless executed game plan against Set to Destroy X in Piranha Pit. You look at this next map here, Wahoo World, that they will be on. Your thoughts on that map here?
This is the map that both teams have the least amount of time with. And so I think that there is some real potential for an upset. So I'm looking forward to seeing how each team kind of handles that map, because it is a little bit different than the other maps that we've kind of played so far.
It is a little bit different, and to your point of it being so new, I think these teams are maybe going to go with some safer compositional picks here. They might not go for the, maybe putting Dynamo at a certain position. I know the Dynamon, of course, very good with the Dynamo roller. It's in his name. But when you do that, you have to know the map very well. You have to know where you're comfortable. And if you're not comfortable on a new map, you might have to make a safer pick.
And what's interesting is we're seeing all these different abilities being swapped out every single match, and continue to share with us, Nine, some more of these main abilities that we might see, especially when you consider how important the final 30 seconds are.
Well, Stealth Jump is very important to get yourself back into the action, but I've heard some of these teams say that Stealth Jump really isn't one of the 3 they feel they need right now. Special Saver, though. Special Saver, very popular, and as we talked about it, you need your specials in the last 30 seconds. Special Saver, the most economic way to make sure you've got it when you need it.
And let's take one more look at the ink pools as we get set for our 4th and final matchup in these ink pools. You see the Back Squids taking on GG Boys in match 4. Set to Destroy X getting the victory over Yana to claim the 3rd seed. Now we just need to figure out who's going to be our top squid as we get set for the semifinals here. Let's pick this up. Wahoo World Turf War match 4. You've got in the blue/purple ink the back squids from Europe, and then the GG boys from Japan in the orange. And what is it about the middle of this map that is so interesting here, Nine?
Well, it's so interesting because you know you have to push forward and take it, but as we're seeing right now, Dynamon kind of just able to box him out here with this Rapid Blaster, but going to have to deal with Echo's Stingray here doing the exact same thing.
Echo deploying the Stingray, 4-4 on the field, just 30 seconds into this one. And Ashley, what's interesting is this middle platform, you can't necessarily swim right up it because there's a huge unequal wall, as you see Dynamon with the nice splat in the Rapid Blaster.
The ink-proof locations in this map make it very interesting because that creates very specific lanes and it makes these teams know exactly where their opponents are going to be coming from.
A lot of orange on the map in this one as the GG boys take early control of Wahoo World. 2 minutes left in this one, and Yamamichi using that inkjet and a lot of territory he's gobbling up right here, Nine.
Yeah, like we said earlier, it makes it that much more difficult for the enemy team to make the comeback, and he's just building up his special right now. He knows his team has it. He can kind of set back there and do what he needs to, though it does look like the back squids have made a push. They're not stuck in their spawn anymore.
Majin with the Ink Storm, and you see the Toxic Mist in the middle of the stage, trying to really fight for map control, trying to assist with a couple of splats. It's Rapid Blaster versus Dualies. You've got Yamamichi back rolling out of there. 1:30 left in this one. Yamamichi with an inkjet ready to go. Going to throw out a couple of curling bombs and pave the way. Yamamichi trying to avoid damage right now. Moving along the map on the top cylinder. Has that special. Waiting to deploy it. And here comes the inkjet as Yamamichi gets the splat on Majin. 1:15 left in this one. 4-3 advantage as we see a sprinkler fall to the bottom. And GG boys here, Ashley, unable to really make that significant push as we see another splat for splat exchange. However, Taiji staying alive.
Yeah, I mean, you see these one-on-ones, and they all, I really love watching them move, because they all move so unconventionally as they're getting around the map. You don't see them taking the traditional walkways in Wahoo World that your regular tourist squids would do.
And so now with the baller, gets the splat on Watson. You've got 4-2 on the field, 3-2 at this point here. That's Flatling trying to create some damage and havoc from up above, able to get out of there. Etuna retreat. Sprinkler put down at this point, 37 seconds left, and you've got 4-4. What needs to happen if you're the back squids? You're trying to make a comeback here, Nine.
Well, the first thing you have to do is deal with Yamamichi. Been living over here on this side of the map the entire time. They've got to get rid of him now. It's taking 2 of them, and Yamamichi finally goes down. This is the look that they needed, but Majin goes down. They needed him to stay alive. It's 2-2.
3-3 on the map. The Ink Storm getting ready to fade out. 13 seconds left. Oh, it's pretty close on the map, but a slight advantage right now to the GG boys. It's 3-2 though. Is this the push? Don't call them the comeback squids. 4 seconds left. Is it gonna be enough with the heavy splatling in the middle? Let's wait to see the results here. Might have been too much ink for the back squids to overcome, but we'll see what happens. You see quite a bit of orange on the left-hand side of your map. What does Judd have to say? And that will be a victory for the GG boys. They claim the #1 seed. However, solid showing by the back squids. They will be the #2 seed as we get set for the semifinals here. And once again, we were talking about Yamamichi and the fact that he was having to pay rent. He was living at the top of the stage so much.
And we could have said that 2 or 3 times throughout that game. We saw earlier the double splat that came in with the curling bomb and the inkjet combination. But that's the thing with dualies. They're so persistent. They're so difficult to get rid of. And when you have the skill of Yamamichi, it does often take 2 squids to take you down.
Well, I believe we've got a replay from some of the action that was taking place in that 4th and final matchup in our ink pools. You had the GG boys taking on the back squids, and really what's been so impressive when you look at the GG boys, not only their communication, Ashley, but their ability to really just never give the other team an overwhelming advantage. They always seem to have 2 or 3 squids on the field of play, and we see Yamamichi in the inkjet here.
Yeah, I mean, they're so good at cutting off lanes. This is the thing that I think the GG boys do almost better than anybody else. I'd say Set to Destroy X also really close on that front. But, I mean, the way that they just find people and say, oh, no, I'm sorry. You won't be coming up this way. Like, we're just going to go ahead and we're going to cancel that.
Let's take an updated look at the ink pools as we finish up with our 4th match here. And we obviously have our seeds determined for the semifinals. Set to Destroy X will be the 3rd seed. Your 4th seed will be Yadna from Australia, New Zealand. The back squids representing Europe, they will be your #2 seed. And the GG boys from Japan, winning both of their matches in the ink pools, will be victorious. And we take a look at the semifinal brackets. It'll be the 1 seed versus the 4 seed. GG boys taking on Ya Na in a best-of-5, and then you'll have the back squids facing off against Set to Destroy X. And Now we get to some of the ranked modes here, 9, and what changes as we get away from Turf War into some more of these strategic game modes.
Well, almost everything changes, to be honest with you here. The one big thing is in this mode, if you make a big push early on, no matter what mode it is, you get to keep those points. It's not a situation where you take a big lead at the beginning and it just goes away. If you're able to make the big push and play defense, you more often than not find yourself winning.
Well, you see the map that we have here for the 5 potential games. Splat zones, clam blitz, tower control, rainmaker, and then tower control if game 4 and 5 are necessary. So let's talk about splat zones because, Ashley, you talk to these professional players, and this is one of their favorite, most consistent game modes. You're going to control a patch of turf, which we like to call splat zone, in the center area of the stage for 100 counts. Once your team completely covers the zone with your ink color, your team's timer will begin to decrease. Whichever team has less time left on their timer at the end of the match wins. However, there are penalties that can be employed.
That's right. If you have the countdown going and then your splat zones are taken over, you get penalized for that. And then it takes even longer to start that countdown over again.
And so, 9, you look at the basic principles and rules of splat zones, but how do these professional players take it to another level where they can be so dominant on this game mode?
Well, there's a time in the game we kind of call the lockout phase. It's when you've taken 2 or 3 down, the opponents are kind of staggered coming from spawn, and you have control of the zone. The good teams are the ones that are able to, much like in Turf War, identify where those threats are coming from, shut down the lanes, as you said, GG Boys is so good at, but it's really whoever can break that chain. They're going to build up their specials and push in with that. You'll see it go back and forth a little bit, but ultimately it's whoever can break that chain who finds themselves victorious.
And it follows a similar pattern to what we saw in Turf War here, Ashley. You want to obviously get the splat zone. From that point, you do want to push into the other team's territory to make sure you're pushing them further away from the zone.
Yeah, you want to make sure that they are nowhere near. You're going to just protect that splat zone at all costs. But the thing is we're also probably going to see a couple of them maybe do a little bit of forward hunting, as you will. They may take some ink forward and try to get around behind their opponents if they're coming into that splat zone. And if they have their specials loaded up, I think we're going to see some fireworks.
Players are still getting set for this first semifinal matchup between the GG Boys from Japan and Ya Na from Australia, New Zealand. And we are seeing some changes in the gear here, 9, so it will be interesting to see what they deploy. But talk to me a little bit more about the communication and how these teams chunk up these maps, as I like to say, and are able to communicate to one another.
Sure. So we've got some very simple callouts, left and right, that are commonly used here. If there's a spot where the sniper usually goes, we'd call it snipe. If there's a spot where you can access that, we call it flank. If there's a big box, we call it box. It's not always complicated, but it has to be precise and it has to be quick because, again, there's only 4 of you. If 2 go down, that's half your force.
Oh, Professor 9, we appreciate the lesson. Let's go ahead and pick up splat zones and Mako Martin. What do you like about this level, Ashley? Because this is one of the newer ones we saw since the game's been released.
I like this one as a splat zone choice because there is one splat zone, and this means that there is going to be a constant battle in the middle of Mako Mart for supremacy.
Yeah, nah, in the blue and the GG Boys in the green. And let's talk about this loadout here as we already have a 3-0 wipe on the field for the GG Boys here, 9.
Well, you know, sometimes you pick the game, but they sent 3 people down to the bottom of the screen there. It doesn't matter what weapons you put. If you get 2 or 3 of those taken down, you've just lost it all. And now begins that lockout phase that we talked about.
GG Boys going with the Splat Dualies, the Range Blaster, the Slosher, and of course that Rapid Blaster Pro. Meanwhile, for Ya Na, you've got the Dual Squelchers, Heavy Splatling, Splat Dualies, and a Range Blaster as well, too. Now it's 3-3 on the field, a couple of specials ready to go for Ya Na, but we see the zone has been grabbed by the GG Boys. It's already 100-40 here, Ashley.
Yeah, I mean, this is going very quickly, and they're keeping Ya Na away from the splat zone, and that's all you really have to do. Like you were saying, 9, once you get ahead, you just got to play defense.
If you're Ya Na, you really want to secure that zone and put that stiff penalty on the GG Boys. However, GG Boys have no intent in giving it up. 14 seconds left until the GG Boys can claim a quick victory here.
Wow. River on the inkjet.
On the inkjet, a couple of rolls right here by River, and they lose control. Can it be enough? And yes, Ya Na able to seize control. And you see this 75-second penalty being deployed for the GG Boys. That's going to give Ya Na a chance in this one because essentially here, 9, you now have a 77-84 score.
Well, that was 3 specials. If that didn't work, nothing was going to work. This time they put 3 on the same side, and unlike at the beginning, it worked. They got the splats they needed and just persistently painted that zone.
3:10 left, 3-3 on the field. GG Boys with the advantage. All they need are 2 more. However, they see a 50-second penalty staring them in the face between victory And we look at Latias up top with that heavy splat link. Oh, zone is up for grabs at this point. Oh, Latias able to get the splat on Yamamichi. Here comes the Stingray. Can she rack up a couple more splats? And that does enough map control there, Ashley, to push back the GG boys.
This girl is a beast with long-range weapons. I absolutely love watching her play. She's got that experience from last year, and it shows. She knows exactly what she needs to do to get her team back in control of that splat zone.
Latias trying to clean things up on Isle Yeah Nah right now, 60-2. And that timer continues to decrease for Yeah Nah. However, now they have to overcome a penalty as the GG boys and Yamamichi with that inkjet get back into the game here, 9.
And that is what you see when you have that many specials coming in. We've seen it a couple times now, and we're going to see it a lot. It's really, can you turn aside the opponent's specials as they push in, and how many of you have to go down to make that happen? We're seeing now they're starting to stagger a little bit. I'd like to see them come back in as a group.
That custom blaster catching River as he tried to flank. Oh, but another blaster, but then FLC gets put down, and Yamamichi gets splatted. Everybody's getting splatted left and right as we're under 2 minutes left. 3-1 advantage, GG boys. However, a couple of Yeah Nah bombs already. That auto bomb gonna add more damage at the end, and it's gonna be game for the GG boys as they clean things up on Mako Mart here, Ashley.
You know, one of the things that I noticed that the GG boys were doing was every time one of their teammates would get splatted, one of them would go hide behind that ink-proof pad in the middle of the cross that was the splat zone so that they could jump in really quickly with cover and then get right back into it.
Game 1 going to the GG boys, and we talk about this game mode here, 9. It's one of the most difficult ones to mount a comeback in because once you secure that splat zone, not only do you have map control, but now you're scoring and you're forcing the other team just to gain map control before they can even go after the objective.
Right, and that's the great point, because the objective is map control. And we talk about map control, how important it is here. It's a little bit more important than all the other map parts of the map that you can take, but it's also really not. You have to find a way to get to it, because if you get too predictable, you're just going to get snuffed out.
Let's get set for our second game in this first semifinal matchup between the GG boys from Japan and Yeah Nah from Australia, New Zealand, and it will be Clam Blitz. And you take a look at this game mode, one of the most recent ones added here, 9. You're gonna toss clams into the enemy basket. First team to score 100 points wins. You can find clams scattered around the stage. If you round up 10 clams, you create a power clam. A power clam is needed to break the basket's barrier. You toss one clam in the basket, that's 3 points. You get a power clam in there, that's 20 points. And Ashley, these power clams are gonna be all over the stage, and so you have to be very judicious about when you pick those up and when you get a power clam.
Definitely. I mean, if you are picking up 1 or 2 clams, maybe you're not as much of a target. But once you start getting into 4, 5, 6, and then of course, once you have the power clam, you are persona non grata. Everyone's coming for you because they don't want you at their basket.
And 9, obviously, if you get a power clam, everyone else on the map can see where you're at. However, there's an advantage to that because if you get splatted, you're not giving a huge help or boost to the opposing team.
Right, and you have a lot of clams if you have that power clam. Like you said, it does take 10, and that means that you have enough clams that your opponent probably isn't building one to go up against you. And really, that clam economy, so important. Again, it comes back to map control. If you're covering some clams with your ink, you're able to see them even on your mini-map.
You got to make sure you handle that currency on the stage. And Ashley, a lot of times it's more than just having one power clam, because if you have more than one, you're then going to put the focus on the opposing team that they're now going to have to shift to a defensive stance.
Absolutely. I mean, you're going to see, if that is the case, you're going to see some fallbacks. You're going to see a lot of defense. I'm guessing maybe we might see a little bit, maybe a tent umbrella. That's what I'm keeping my fingers crossed for. Do you think? 9, do you think there could be a tent umbrella? Probably not.
You
no?
know, it's more popular than it has been in the past.
True.
It's more popular. The Bubble's a very powerful special on this mode. People like to combine Bubbles, or the Bubble Blower rather, with the Baller. And that's another really popular special. You run in with that, it gives you a little bit of invulnerability, and it allows your teammates to super jump with those power claims, not even having to get close to it.
And the strategy continues to develop for this game mode because it is still fairly fresh. But what we're seeing is most people online are kind of concerned about, well, if I get a power clam, everyone's going to know where I'm at. These players, 9, seem to be so talented, it doesn't matter whether you have a power clam or not. The opposing team knows where you're at.
And on top of that, too, whoever holds the power clam, that's a little bit different here when you're at this level as well. A lot of times you'll see the backliners being the one holding it. They're not going to the opponent anyway, so what's the harm in them holding it? It's going to be if they can get their frontliners in front front and use that super jump mechanic to jump up there and score that way.
We're still working on getting the lobby all set up for these players as they choose their abilities here, and oftentimes you're going to be changing abilities depending on the game mode, so that's what's great for these players. They get a chance to really be flexible for each game mode, Ashley.
Yeah, and I mean, of course, every single game mode has its pros and cons for gear and loadouts. Everything that you're picking really can make the difference between winning and losing. And so for a map like, or for a mode like this, you might want something along the lines of, you want to swim fast. You know, you want to make sure you can get that power clam as quickly as possible to the other side of the map, but maybe not so on a different map where it's a little bit smaller and maybe you're in a different game mode. So it's, it could make the difference.
Well, let's take another look at the game modes that we'll see here in this best-of-5 matchup between the GG boys from Japan and Yadna from Australia, New Zealand. Game number 1, Splat Zones, that went to the GG boys. Game number 2, Clam Blitz, that's what we're breaking down for y'all right now. Game number 3 will be Tower Control, and if necessary, Game 4 will move to Rainmaker, and then if we get our treat here, which I hope we do, we get a Game 5, that will be Tower Control as well too. And you look at the different types of communication that goes on here, Nine, and not only is it telling your teammates where everybody else is, but what else are they communicating during Clam Blitz to make sure that they can make those coordinated pushes on the opposition?
Well, I think the biggest thing that at this level you're looking for is you see when the enemy has power clams, so you don't need to call out those anymore. Everyone on the map can see it. What's important is to identify the front liner, to identify where that special might come from. You need to keep track at the top of the screen, see who has their special, see if someone has a baller, because the only way that you can stop that is really to be preemptive.
I'm guessing we're going to see, for GG boys, I'm guessing we're going to see Yamamichi out there in front protecting whoever's got that power clam because he's been so good on dualies. And I have a feeling that's we're going to see the same thing going forward.
And there's some other advanced strategies as well too, because once you have a power clam, you can pass it to your teammate as well too, and then you can also juggle some things too, Nine.
Yeah, you can toss that power clam. Remember, the opponent only sees the power clam. They don't see the squid that's carrying it. So sometimes you'll see somebody throw one up ahead and use it as bait. Someone goes to that, they direct their fire that way. It allows you to sneak around back behind. These teams are pretty good at Clam Blitz. They're not going to fall for the simple tricks, but hey, bright lights, great opponents, you never know.
And a lot of times too, it's managing the respawn of these power clams as well, because it seems like teams really have a good idea of when to grab the clams out there, when they're going to respawn, and then the map control that comes with that.
Yeah, and one of the things that we had discussed about Clam Blitz that I think is so interesting at this high level of play is clam management against your opponents, where you actually play keep away. It's like, you know, if you're ahead, just start collecting the clams so that your opponents just can't score.
And then obviously there's penalties that happen in this one too, Nine, and those penalties can really mean a lot because they can prevent you from really improving your score, and we know how difficult it is to get a power football to the other team's basket.
And it's frustrating because let's say that you go from 100 to 20, you score a lot of clams there, and then it goes away. Suddenly you have such a big penalty that you almost have to score another 80 just to get back down to it, where your opponent, now they have a fresh slate to work with. They're going to get what we call the pity clam, which happens when the basket closes. And now suddenly the ball's in your court. I made a pun.
Oh,
See?
I like that. But
Okay,
the thing
okay.
is, footballs aren't on courts there, Nine. It's okay, though. You'll figure out your sporty sports someday there, buddy. Let's go ahead and get set for Clam Blitz as we take it to Sturgeon.
Is there a tent umbrella on stage? It just got so shady.
Oh, I love you, Nine. Let's go ahead and get this thing rolling here. Sturgeon Shipyard. Tell you what, why don't you tell us about the loadout here?
Well, the Slosher Deco here that you're seeing Etino run, that's really going to be the deciding factor here. It's one of the best baller users in the game right now. It can build it up with that sprinkler as well, so keep an eye on that. That's going to be where most of the pressure is coming from.
And then Ashley, Sturgeon Shipyard, you've got a couple defining features about that stage. Some of those big moving platforms will certainly make a difference as far as navigation goes.
Definitely. Big moving platforms make it easy to put ink on them and go. You can get vertical, you can go horizontal with this. I mean, there's a lot of different ways to get across the map.
And Dynamon with the first power clam on the field right now, or court if you're 9, 420 left in this one. Ink Storm ready to go for Dynamon. And 9, some of these specials you can't deploy. Oh, as we see a splat for splat and a couple of booyahs being deployed as it's now 2-2 on the field here, 9.
And to go to an earlier point there, you see that spinner right now that's now turned up all the way vertical. You can actually put a power clam in from up there with a jump off. It's increasingly difficult to stop, but we're seeing now a little bit of pressure coming in. Great job by Yana slowing that one down.
GG boys in the blue have already got a power clam in the basket. They take the early advantage, 80 to 100, but now they have a 10-point penalty to deal with at this point. 3:43. Oh, as Gabe with the splat bomb, that's going to give the advantage on the field to Yeah Nah, but GG Boys able to reclaim that. There's the pity clam ready to go for Yeah Nah, but we've got the barrier broken once again by the GG Boys as Taiji is in that inkjet trying to put some pressure on the spawn of Yeah Nah here, Ashley.
Yeah, it was a lot of pressure in the spawn, and honestly, they're playing defense. They're playing defense at this point.
And you see the little timer in between the scores. As long as you get a clam in the basket during that timer, you'll add more time. And yes, very smart here, 9. You see the GG Boys being very patient with their score, and it looks like they're going to close this one out. And the GG Boys,
So patient.
how about the management of the timer on the basket that we saw there, 9?
Yeah, and knowing when it turns around and when it's almost there, you can just open it up right there, saying we're going to take every second we can, because they sent somebody back to collect more clams in the middle. They do spawn on a timer, and they do spawn in small pods of 4. You have to be able to identify where that is. But like you said, great job managing that timer.
GG Boys get the KO against Yeah Nah from Australia, and they jump out to a 2-0 advantage here in the semifinals. And it looks like they just had no issues whatsoever controlling the map in that addition of Clam Bliss that we saw there, Ashley.
Yeah, definitely not. I mean, Dynamon had the power clamp for a little while there, and that's, like we were saying, you know, the back line can carry that, and you still have these great offensive players out there up front just absolutely rolling on people, just taking control of everything that's going on and making easy lanes for a score.
Let's get set for our third game, which will be tower control, and a lot of people very familiar with this game mode here, 9. And let's take a look at the basic rules here. You're going to ride the tower into the enemy's base. The tower moves automatically on a set path once a player is on it. If the battle ends with the tower not reaching the goal, the team with the lowest goal distance wins. However, there are checkpoints, and it seems like tower control is all about these checkpoint management and what you can do there, 9.
And it's really important to identify where those checkpoints are. There are maps where getting past that first checkpoint almost feels like a win in and of itself. There's others where the first and second checkpoint could not be any easier to get past. And it's very important that you mount your defenses based on that map. Just knowing the mode's not enough.
And Ashley, a lot of times you have to decide when you're going to hop on and off that tower, because if you sit there, you don't want to be a sitting squid, but you also need to be on there to advance it.
I mean, we saw it last year in the finals, right? So we saw Dynamon and his team up there, three squids on the tower in overtime, and it was so heartbreaking. One bomb took them all out. And so, yeah, you want to know when to be on the tower, when to get off the tower. You got to know when people are coming so that you can get off, get right back on, and keep riding it to the finish.
9, I'm sure 2 words come to mind as far as one of the most powerful specials when it comes to tower control, and that is Sting and Ray.
Not as powerful as it once was, but when you have a nice, slow-moving tower that you know everybody's going to be on, it's going to be there. It's going to be an easy shot for you. We call it the GG Ray for a reason.
Tower control on Snapper Canal. Let's pick this one up. You've got in the purple, you've got the GG Boys taking on Yeah Nah in the green. Yeah Nah trying to avoid the 3-0 sweep. GG Boys trying to make it a quick trip to the finals tomorrow. And we see Dynamon with the heavy splatling here, 9.
Yep, switching back to it, and of course it does have that Stingray like we talked about, but this map especially is one that lends itself to your backliner riding the tower and being a big threat the entire time. It's just a very scary map to play on.
GG Boys already grabbed the tower, and they're moving in on the first checkpoint, and they're making some serious ground early into this one. 4-4 on the map, make that 4-3 as Yeah Nah is able to eliminate one of the GG Boys, but the tower continues to move, and here we are, Ashley, almost to the second checkpoint. But what we were talking about, you see Yeah Nah able to push GG Boys off that tower.
Oh, and a trade right there. That was very, you know what? I think that Australia, Yeah Nah will take that trade because you don't want Yamamichi on the map.
Gabe doing some fine work right here, getting a couple of splats in a row and deploying the Ink Storm. Gabe trying to avoid those curling bombs. Gabe dodge rolling a couple of times, but not enough. As you see, the splat takes out Gabe, and now it's 4-1 on the field for the GG Boys. They have the numbers advantage. River and Yamamichi.
They're just swapping.
Lots of splats right now, and you see Dynamon now hopping on the tower here, 9, as the GG Boys quickly approach that second checkpoint.
And that second checkpoint really is the most important one. You saw how quickly that first checkpoint went, but you also saw that even though they had so much going for them, as Latias making her presence felt, it really is getting past that second checkpoint that often determines the winner.
Latias, sweeter than Nutella with that charger right there, taking out a couple opponents at that point. 3:15 left in this one, and we've talked about how important it is to have that long distance distance control, especially on tower control here, Ashley.
Absolutely, and if there's anybody who knows about long distance control, it's Latias. She is doing a great job trying to keep that tower from getting any closer to their base.
Latias trying to avoid the incoming threat. Etna with those dualies, very mobile as we have the GG boys on the tower once again. 250 left in this one, 4-3 on the field advantage. Yeah, nah, Inkjet right now by FLC and the Stingray. So a couple of specials being deployed by Yadna, and they're able to stop the tower in its tracks, 9.
What they're doing a great job of right now on the defensive side is even though they're getting split up, they're at least keeping Latias protected enough that she's able to continue to pressure the tower and have those Stingrays up. On the offensive side, however, GG Boys is doing a great job of keeping that split. As you see, once again, that was a front laner caught by themselves in what was basically a 2v1.
And Gabe getting caught in the middle, so that's going to be one less squid for Yadna. They're able to finally get on the board, but you see Taiji getting a splat on FLC, Etna on top with the splat dualies as that tower continues to quickly approach. Yamamichi joining in the fun as well, too. Throwing in a couple of curling bombs, and here comes Latias trying to play some backline security for Yadna as they try to stave off elimination in this third game. But now it's 4-3 on the map, and it seems like the GG boys are just relentless here, Ashley.
They are absolutely relentless. You can see they're doing everything in their power to take Latias out of the game. That is the one thing that I think they're going to want as they get closer and closer to the finish.
Dynamon using that Stingray on the tower, able to push it to the third and final checkpoint here, and now you've got your whole team really pushing Yadna deep into their spawn here, 9, as we look to see the GG boys close things out. 2 seconds left, and that will do it for the GG boys. They get the victory, the 3-0 sweep over Yadna. But let's give it up for Yadna and their participation here, putting up a worthy battle. And what we saw there is, once again, I used the word with Ashley here, 9, just relentless from the GG boys. Once they got that tower, it was just push after push after push.
It is the fine art of the spawn camp, as you would say, in
Indeed.
a lot of other games. And when you have a lot of long-range pressure coming in, which you did see from Latias, as the crowd goes ahead and gives it up for our competitors, you know that if you let them sit back to their own devices, they're going to make your life very difficult. So great job to GG boys knowing what the threat was and identifying it with that relentless pressure.
Lots of love here for Yadna. They're the only team that had a team mom make the trip as well, too. And so it was wonderful to have her in the audience. And you look at just how dominant the GG boys looked here, Ashley. And obviously it was no mystery that they defeated 800 teams, but you got a chance to get an up close and personal look at how good this squad really is.
They are absolutely incredible. Not only are they really good at shot calling, they're really good at cutting off lanes of their opponents, and they're also just they're just really good at Splatoon, you guys. I mean, it's really, like, it's insane to watch these players play. Like, all of them are so very good.
Let's take a look at the updated bracket as the GG boys will advance to tomorrow's grand finals. Who will they be taking on? Well, that's going to be between the Back Squids from Europe and Set to Destroy X as they get set for a best-of-5 matchup between these two squads in these ranked modes. And a bit of a rematch here, 9, because we saw the Back Squids defeat Set to Destroy X and Turf War in our opening ink pools.
And what was really encouraging about that, if you are a fan of the Back Squids, is that they won the opening exchange, and then they continue to play solid defense on a map that's not easy to play solid defense on. That tells me that their fundamentals were good, their communication was good, their game plan worked. So we'll see here now. I know Turf War is a little different, but I'm really excited to see how these two teams that seem to be very closely matched go at it.
And let's give you a reminder of the order of game modes we're going to go in for these semifinals. Once again, we will start with Splat Zones, and after that, it'll go to Clam Blitz and Tower Control. If a Game 4 is necessary, that will be Rainmaker, and then Game 5, let's go ahead and hop back on the tower for that one if we need to. And it seems like what we saw from the Back Squids, Majin doing a great job on that back line, Ashley, with that Rapid Blaster.
Really good work by him. I was just about to talk about how he absolutely had control of the back line. There was no flanking allowed when Majin was on the field, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what they do here, and if they can make as little unforced errors as possible, if they really go out of their way to not make, like, not like self-imposed mistakes. I think they can really pull. I think they can pull it out.
And set to destroy X here, 9. You look at how much the North American community grew over the last year from Splatoon 1 to Splatoon 2, knocking off over 500 teams just to get here. And this is a team that really didn't face much resistance locally as well, too, as they qualified.
Yeah, it was sweeps all over the place. They have been a very strong team, and it speaks volume. We've gone through so many different changes in the meta. We've gone through so many different weapon releases, new stages, new modes. It just doesn't seem to matter. They're always one step ahead of what's going on here. Unfazed, but I don't know. We'll see if this first one got to them at all. I think they're pretty happy with the composition they were using. It's just going to be a matter of execution at this point.
Players right now getting things finalized in the lobby, selecting their gear and their main abilities as well, too. And really, for the most part, what we're seeing from these teams is that communication, Ashley, getting that initial push. And really, nobody's had a early lead and then really had to face getting somebody coming from behind and really taking control. It seems like those teams that get to the advantage early, these teams are so fundamental that they can secure the lead at that point.
Yeah, they absolutely can. I mean, we see this all the time with Set to Destroy X. They're very good at getting to the center of the map and making it happen.
Let's go ahead and get started with Splat Zones and Mako Mart, and you see Team USA set to destroy X in that magenta ink, and then in the turquoise ink, you've got the back squids from Europe. And 9, any observations from the initial loadout here for Splat Zone?
Well, you can hop right on over to that charger of Echo. Echo being one of the best chargers in the game right now. It's not a common pick, and anytime you have that on your team, you are relying on them to make some big shots because they cannot paint as well as some other weapons.
Set to destroy X, hopping in the express lane as they take early control of the Splat Zone here. 100 to 83, they have the early advantage, but you see the Inkjet and Baller being deployed for the back squids at this point as Fuzzy trying to hold down the back line, tossing a couple of burst bombs, trying to avoid Majin, who just gets done with that Inkjet. Majin moving forward with that Rapid Blaster as well, too. And now the back squid sees control here, Ashley.
Yeah, that's great for them. I think that Watson did a lot of really good work there on the left, the slosher, before he got splatted, and now we see Majin just waiting, lying in wait for someone to come by.
And here you see the great view of the push from the back squids. They're now deep into Set to destroy X territory, trying to make a push here. Inkjet being deployed, but no, that Inkjet gonna get struck in mid-air and Set to destroy X. It's 3-3 on the map. However, they lose the lead now. It's 50 to 65 advantage back squids. Stingray ready to go for Echo. Echo with the one-shot splat. You heard it right there. Now it's 65-42 advantage still for the back squids, and it's a 4-0 wipe right there for the back squids as they continue to push deeper and deeper into Set to destroy X territory. But Hexen isn't ready to give this one up yet. He gets the splat with the slosher, and it seems like Set to destroy here, 9 really needs a team effort as the clock continues to tick down closer, but here comes that penalty, 9.
That was a slow and staggered 4-0 wipe, but it was still a wipe. And man, you talk about clutch. They did not have a lot of specials to work with there. They did just enough, but you're seeing already they're starting to lose the zone again. They're going to have to be careful.
Might we see a comeback here in Splat Zones? And really, it seems like Echo with that charger here, Ashley, doing a great job of controlling the map.
Excellent job of lane control, and also really, he's going to be the guy who's shot calling. He's going to be able to see who's coming in. He's going to say, hey, Hexen left. You know, everybody left, right, up, down. I mean, this is a great position for him to be in.
Oh, but hold on to your tentacles here. Set to destroy, trying to make the comeback. 35-12. You see the 67-second penalty for the back squids as well, too. But here comes the bomb rush. Can they establish control? And they do. They throw the penalty on. Majin getting the splat, but that's a splat for splat as Kyo also. That Ink Storm helping out Set to destroy X. It's now 2-2 on the field, 9. Looks like the back squids trying to cut deep into that penalty here.
Fuzzy going to use this bomb rush a little bit preemptively, try to allow his team to come back in. He knows that they used 2 specials there and still lost that exchange, so he's going to have to give them an avenue back in, and it works just as intended.
Set to destroy X. They get control of the zone once again. 2 minutes left, and Fuzzy was a beast, wasn't he? Getting the splat right there. 30-12, penalty ticking down for Set to destroy. 4-4 on the field. Tightly contested match right now as Watson with the splat and the slosher. And here comes the Stingray as back squids try to take control. And we have a Baller set to go for Watson as well, too, here, actually.
I mean, Watson has done such a great job on the left side of that map, just absolutely taking control. It's only been a couple of times he's been splatted over there, so I think he's really doing a great job here.
Bomb rush being deployed. Hexen with that slosher, trying to gain control. Zone is up for grabs. 1:29 left in this one. And 9, now you start to figure the timer in this game starting to play a factor.
And you see they're under 30 seconds left on this penalty. They've been working to it for so long, you almost forget that they're scoring here, but they are doing just that. This is what's important. You're going to see the back squids try to stack it, but Watson went down very early in that push. That might set them back.
You've got one special ready to go for the back squids. They're going to need it to gain control, but here comes a baller from Hexen. Perfectly timed on the explosion. Avoids the suction bomb right there. And now you've got Set to Destroy X improving their score. It's trying to get equal, but no, Zone is up for grab. Can it be regained by either team? And yes, Set to Destroy X grabs it. It's a 4-0 wipe for them as they make a push. 3 seconds away from taking the lead. The chance of USA fueling this comeback for Set to Destroy X. 3 seconds left. Will they do it? And yes, we see our first comeback in Splat Zones and Set to Destroy X. Ashley using that 4-0 wipe at the perfect moment to take control of this game.
I mean, it really is. It's a matter of seconds before things can change. And I honestly think Backsquids were doing a really good job of controlling Set to Destroy X, keeping them out of that splat zone, but it just wasn't enough. And honestly, Hexen's shot calling really, I think, made the difference here.
It was great for them to, whenever you have an opponent pushing at you with 3 specials, almost every time we saw that zone flip all the way back. It was a back and forth endeavor. But we talked about it. Who can break that cycle? Who can break that chain? You have to identify where those specials are coming from very quick. That's exactly what they did. And once the 3 specials didn't flip it back the other way, you kind of got the sense that SCDX had it.
Well, let's take a look at a couple key turning points in this matchup. And you were talking about it right there, Nine. The use of the specials. And what are we seeing here? A minute left. It looked like this is really when Set to Destroy X took control of everything.
That's when all the specials have been used like that. And great job there by Pengit staying alive. Remember, when you go down, it paints the zone. And Pengit was standing in the back of that zone. That might have been enough to allow Echo to position a little bit better here. Some icing on the cake there at Kaito as he desperately tried to get back to that zone. But again, it really was their ability to kind of thrust aside those specials as they came in.
What I liked about Wit right there, Ashley, is an understanding of the opponent's weapon. You're charging in with that rapid blaster, but you realize you've got the range advantage. I don't need to close the gap. Let me create some more distance. The timer is my friend at this point.
Of course, and if they get splatted inside the splat zone, all the better, because that's just more ink for your team on the ground, keeping you in control.
And we saw Echo using that Charger 9, and as we look back at some of his play, it looked very impressive as far as their ability, the back squids, to control the map early on. Take us through what we're seeing with Echo.
Well, whenever you get a snipe, that generally means that you're, 1, in a good position to make it happen, and 2, it just is a complete momentum shift here. Again, that inkjet going down very quickly, quite important because that was a special that was used in an aggressive position. You see that snipe right there, Hexen, the frontliner. We talk how important it is for frontliners to be able to push back deep, but that really pushed that one aside, allowed that splat on Kyo to be opened up, but it all started with that snipe.
And an absolutely thrilling matchup as we saw lead changes left and right. I think it's just an appetizer of what's to be expected between these two squads. Now we go ahead and change gears to Clamblitz for both of these teams. We got to see a little early addition as the GG boys took on Yeah Nah. Anything differently we might see from that early matchup, because it seemed like the GG boys got up to the early lead and then they really kept that pressure on Yeah Nah. I assume it'll be the same story in this.
That's what both sides are going to be aiming to do. I imagine we'll see pretty similar compositions. The one thing that's interesting me is what Echo is going to go here, because long range can thrive on this map, but don't be surprised if he goes with a different weapon, and he did, hopping over to that blaster for a little bit more pressure.
Let's get things started on Sturgeon Shipyard Clamblitz. You've got in the turquoise the back squids of Europe, and then in the orange, you're going to be going with Set to Destroy X. They've got a 1-game lead on the back squids. Oh, 3-1 already. Hexen trying to put in some work with the slosher, and that's a splat for a splat, but now it's 2-0 on the field, Set to Destroy X, and those clams are up for grabs as Set to Destroy trying to take an early advantage here. And now it's all about managing map control in this little courtyard. It seems like, Ashley, the teams that have success there are really going to dominate this mode.
Yeah, and you're going to be able to use those rotating pieces of the map to really do that. You can use it as cover. You can use it as a way to get in. Like Nine was saying, you can score from there. So these rotating pieces of the map are going to be so key for these two teams.
An inkjet ready to go for Kaito. Neither team with a power claim at this point. Oh, but the splat in mid-air by Kyo, and that's a splat for splat you'll take all day, 9, when you take out a special, especially the Inkjet.
And it also gave them a 3-1 lead. Is Penguin going to get another trade? But again, they're in an aggressive position. Not all trades are created equal here. You see they're going to the top to try to slow it down, and Kaito getting an important splat right there. Another trade. Both sides are trying to establish control of this lower area before they make their big push, but neither side is giving it away for free.
Kyo and Hexen going down, and right now we just have a lot of splats exchanging sides. No team able to really put any pressure on with a power clam, and that just goes to show you how evenly matched these two teams seem to be early on in this semifinal. Oh, Majin putting in work once again with that Rapid Blaster Pro. And you've got a special in the Baller being deployed, and then an Ink Storm, as it seems like momentum starting to shift here, Ashley.
I mean, yeah, this is a really good chance. You've got the Ink Storm coming in. It's going to slow down STDX. It's going to enable EU Backsquids to get in there and hopefully score some goals.
Majin's got a couple of clams away from a power clam, and that's the first one that breaks the barrier, and now it's open. It's all about tossing those clams in, but great defensive push here, 9.
And so there's something, so we talked about that pity clam earlier. You don't have to build up any clams to do so. They're going to charge in here as quickly as they can because they got that 4-0 wipe. If they're able to take out these frontliners right here, which it looks like they were able to get a couple of them here, this lead might go away instantly.
Watson, you see, exchanging the splat right there. Here comes Wit with the football, trying to find an open basket, but Wit unable to avoid the ink and gets caught. Custom Blaster getting the splat right there. 65-100 advantage right now for the Backsquids. 2:30 left in Clam Blitz as we've got Set to Destroy X with the 1-game lead. Here comes the splat bomb. Echo doing a fine job of avoiding that. Still peppering the area with some ink. Gonna take out that sprinkler. No thank you. I don't need to waste any ink there. Echo trying to help fortify their position. Echo backing up, getting the splat on Fuzzy. Inkjet ready to go. Can Echo get another splat? More pressure being put on by the Backsquids. They're up 4-2. Oh, but Echo gets taken out. And Set to Destroy X still unable to really get that one initial push they need here, Ashley.
Yeah, and that was really unfortunate for Echo because his special was ready to go, and now he's going to be taking a little bit of a penalty there. Oh.
Rapid Blaster on Rapid Blaster crime right there as both go down with the splat. Hexen and Majin kill right now with that blaster, and we have a power clamp ready to go for Set to Destroy, but that one goes down. This is going to be a critical exchange, but the 3-on-1 is enough for the Backsquids to get the advantage there. And now 1:30 into play. We talk about that timer here, 9.
Here comes the Baller. This is what we see all the time, although it looks like they were able to snuff out the carrier there. What happens is oftentimes if you defend that, you can't always break the Baller, but you can at least take down the carrier, and Watson making the presence felt right now.
Watson putting a couple of splats in his bucket. It's all Watson. You better remember the name, and here comes the Baller in their base. Can he do enough damage? No, the Baller gets eliminated, and the defensive pressure once again, but the barrier is broken by the Backsquids, and they're continuing to build their lead against Set to Destroy X as we have a minute left. It's 50-100 Backsquids, and Watson really paving a way to help give the advantage to the Backsquids here, Ashley.
Yeah, there's still a lot happening over here. Unfortunately, Echo didn't quite make it through that Inkjet, but it looks like hopefully STDX is looking to make a really big push here in the last 40 seconds.
40 seconds left, as you said, 100-50, and if you are Set to Destroy X, you've got a power clamp in possession. However, you're down 4-2, 4-2 on the field right now, 9.
4-2, and those were their two frontliners as well. Kyo has not been as effective with that custom blaster as we would like to see running in, and it speaks volumes of the way that Majin is playing as that rotating back line. He has the longest range on the team, and he's using that to shut down those lanes on the left and right side.
13 seconds left. This most likely will go into overtime, and as you know here, 9, it just takes a couple of power clams and you can make a comeback when you're down 50. Is there going to be enough time and enough clams on the field for Set to Destroy to mount a comeback? And that is it. The Backsquids holding things down on Clam Blitz. And we saw a couple of those aggressive pushes, and you see the emotion on their faces and the communication. This is a team that came here with high hopes, and they are delivering early on, 9.
And in a mode like Clam Blitz, so often we say Clam Blitz is the most volatile, but that was just fundamentals winning over and over, knowing how to push up and being able to identify Penguin, who had an incredible game there on that Rapid Blaster Pro. You have to be able to move them if you're going to make any pushes. Great job to them all around.
And you see the emotion from the Backsquids. Let's look at that tear that Watson went on early in this one to help build the advantage for the back squids. You see a minute 30 left, and 9, go ahead and walk us through this sloshing action we're going to see.
Well, it started off screen. You see there at the left side that the carrier of that power clam had already went down, so that baller was kind of a moot point. Watson, knows that he can rush up. That baller is no longer a threat. It's not heading his way, running right up, using that incredible fall-off damage that the slosher class does have, and just making it look so easy. I promise it's not, but hey, great players make great plays.
Watson with 3 splats, and they were able to get another power clam into the goal. They built the 50-point lead, and it was too much for Set to Destroy X. In fact, you look at the defense here, and my goodness, Ashley, they were able to keep Set to Destroy X from even getting on the board that matchup.
Yeah, they almost kept them entirely from that courtyard where their goal was. So that was incredible defense. And as 9 was saying earlier, I mean, in a mode like Clam Blitz, if you can get ahead early, play defense, defense wins the championship, you know?
Now we shift gears. Look at you with the sport references. You learned a lot over the last year. I like it right there, Ashley. We're going to get set for tower control on Snapper Canal, and you figure in tower control some of the similar things. A lot of blasters here, 9. That Stingray is important on that slow-moving tower, but also in Snapper Canal, it's an interesting level because there are some pitfalls, and you have to be very good with your maneuverability in this stage.
And I think the GG boys and actually showed us pretty much exactly how you would like to play this. The long-range threats are going to be there. They're going to be able to put the pressure on the tower, so it's up to those frontliners to find a way to get in and pressure them, not let them have their way.
And you look at the sub-weapons that are going to be used in here, and obviously a lot of bombs, and the splat bombs, suction bombs can be very important, but what about the toxic mist? We're seeing that from some teams as well, too, here, 9.
Yeah, you throw it there, and especially on here, you know everyone's going to be around the tower. You toss it there, it just makes it that much more difficult for them to maneuver around. We're seeing Fuzzy here on the custom jet squelcher, as well as Echo on that sniper. That's going to be the long-range threat we talked about.
Let's go ahead and pick this up in Snapper Canal as we just get started with under 5 minutes to go. And what about the loadouts that we see here? We see some interesting choices and a jet squelcher for Set to Destroy X here, Ashley.
Yeah, I mean, I really like that choice. It's not quite as long range, obviously, as a Charger, but, you know, it'll do the job, and I think that Set to Destroy X is ready to use it well.
Back squids take the early lead, 81 to 100. However, that tower is going to stop, and what did we just see that happen right there, 9?
Those Stingrays canceled each other out, and now it's just the Rapid Blasters left. It was a mirror image on both sides. It was so important that both sides try to get that other Stingray down. Again, in this current patch, you can't use Stingray from the invincible spawn, as you saw right there. Echo making the presence felt again.
4:10 left in this one. 3-1 on the field for the back squids. They've got the early advantage, 77 to 100. Both teams have taken the game from each other as we see once again the back squids hopping on the tower, and now they're starting to cut into that first checkpoint, doing a great job of really applying that long-range pressure once again, Ashley. However, Fuzzy really leading the charge for all 4 Set to Destroy X players as they get the wipe.
Yeah, oof, that was rough. I mean, you have Echo on the tower there, and that's not really the best positioning for him. You want him to be a little bit farther in the back line, kind of taking care of business.
88 to 74, the advantage right now for back squids, but it looks like that lead might change. Fuzzy trying to hold on, but oh, here comes the baller. It gets busted off. Oh, and that is critical right there, 9. The ability to get through that first checkpoint is going to make things much easier for Set to Destroy X as they continue to face off against the back squid.
And Hexen using that baller on tower to stay alive allowed the rest of the team to come back just in time. You're seeing another jump out happen here already. They know that they're going to have to do a better job mounting this defense. They can't trickle into it.
You talk about trickling in, and you have to have a coordinated team effort, not only on offense, but also on defense. 43-74 advantage for Set to Destroy X. However, the tower going back to neutral, but no, it gets claimed once again by Set to Destroy X. Watson trying to put in some work with those dualies. Clearing some space right here at this point. Retreating, reading his opponent. Able to move around, gets the splat on Kyo. How about the footwork? Watson once again trying to get another splat, avoiding the damage from the slosher. Watson, you can't stop him. You can only hope to contain him, 9.
And that's not really the way that you'd like to play that situation. And enemies right in front of you. Let me throw my Inkstorm right in your face here. But that's a 4-0 wipe again. Watson came to play today.
Advantage, though, for Set to Destroy. You see the lead, 43-74, as the back squids now take the tower to the first checkpoint. They're looking to finally clear it. Looks like they'll have no issues as Echo sits atop it right now with that Charger ready to go. Plenty of real estate in front of them as they now approach the second checkpoint. Kaito jumping in to help out. Watson rolling on the backside. Looks like a couple of splats with the slosh. Kyo going down. 3-2 advantage, back squids. However, set to destroy. Oh, Witch with a couple of on-target shots there, 9.
That might have saved the game for them right there. That was 2 frontliners right in their face. If Pingit had gone down in that situation, they would have been able to walk up to that checkpoint and maybe even all the way through it. If they win the game, that may be the play that does it.
56-43 advantage on the field for set to destroy with that lead, 3-3. Ashley, we got a minute 30 left though, and once again we see Watson on the tower. Not much time left for the back squids if they're trying to make a push.
Yeah, they're gonna have to really work hard here to take out. Pinket's gotta go, and you gotta take out those frontliners. Otherwise, this is gonna be a really tough. Turnaround for them.
Wit playing the back line right now for set to destroy X. You think about maybe shifting to a defensive focus here. Echo trying to get some splats with that charger. Stingray ready to go. You've got Wit in the back line for set to destroy. 4-4 on the field. Neither team really trying to go get the tower at this point, 9.
No, they're not able to get anywhere close to it. Kyo doing all of this crazy stuff there. I think we were trying to get some Sports Center highlight level play there. Not gonna go for it there. Majin going down there to Kyo is what really set this entire thing up. If Majin was able to get that same splat that we saw Pinga get earlier, they might not even be on the tower right now.
Hexen with a couple of splats, and that Slosher has the baller ready to go. They're at the second checkpoint trying to add to their lead. You see the Toxic Mist trying to decrease things, and no, baller unable to be used, but a couple of critical splats. It's now 2-1 on the field, back squids. You got about 20 seconds left, and Ashley, you got to be perfect if you want to make the comeback at this point.
You do. I think that double splat hurt my heart a little bit, 9. I watched that happen, but I hope that they can jump on this tower here and get going.
4-3 on the field, 8 seconds left. Can set to destroy, hold on strong. If you're the back squids, you got to hop on the tower at this point to force overtime. Majin on there, trying to force overtime. Here comes a couple of more back squids. Toxic Mist ready to go. Oh, but the defensive stance by set to destroy X. They're able to respond and take back another game. They now have the 2-1 advantage here, 9.
Just enough defense there, held it on, knowing that at the very end, you just need to put a tiny piece of your body on that tower, and the game registers it as going the other way. But man, that was a lot closer than the final score indicated.
It really was, and that's what we're seeing from both of these teams here, Ashley, is the fact that it's that initial push, but you aren't having much luck securing the game at that point. These other teams are making great comebacks, and what we saw from set to destroy X, just enough pressure late in the game to keep the back squids from mounting a comeback.
Absolutely, and I think there was some really good special management in about the last minute or so of the game. They really took their time, made wise decisions on when to utilize those specials, and of course, if you happen to have I don't know, if you happen to have your special right at the end there and you can shoot it right at the tower, all the better.
And I'm glad that you mentioned that, because there kind of becomes a game of cat and mouse in that situation. You look up, you see that your opponent has the Stingray, and you having your Stingray says, okay, I can't fire this first, because if they shoot that Stingray at the tower, it's gonna take me down. I have to be there ready to counter.
And Wit obviously putting in some major work for set to destroy X. And what did we see right there, 9, as far as one of those critical points in this match?
We saw 2 frontliners in the perfect position to steal that tower back and make a big push. And we saw a mid to back line player making a better play against all odds.
Well, let's get set for game 4 in this semifinal matchup. It'll be our first look at Rainmaker in this Splatoon 2 World Championship. And let's break down what this is going to be all about. For those of you not familiar with it, you carry a mystical missile launcher called the Rainmaker to a pedestal in the enemy base. The Rainmaker is initially located in the center of the stage and is protected by a barrier. If the battle ends without a KO, the team with the lowest goal distance will win. And Ashley, you talk about a game that takes a lot of communication. You look at Rainmaker and everything that can happen with it.
That's right. I mean, you really have to be talking to your opponents, especially the designated Rainmaker carrier. It needs to know exactly where everybody else is and how they can help propel their team to victory.
And 9, map knowledge is always very important no matter what game mode, but it seems like in Rainmaker, every map is going to have an obvious route for the Rainmaker, but there's also that one little detour you can make where you can really take out a large chunk of your score.
And shot calling so important here. When you pick up that Rainmaker, you have to know then and there, we're going this way, we're going left, we're going right up the middle, we're taking this path, that path, because if you hesitate, the opponent gains special meter when you are holding the Rainmaker. You know if you take too long, they're going to throw as many specials as they can, and everyone on the map can see that Rainmaker.
Players in the lobby making their final adjustments as we get set for Rainmaker. Game 4, set to destroy X taking on the back squids. What's at stake? Well, set to destroy X is victorious. They will face off against the GG boys in our grand finals tomorrow. Back Squids trying to force a Game 5 and extend this semifinal matchup. Kelp Dome Rainmaker. So 9, this is one of those interesting maps where if you want to really get an advantage with that Rainmaker, you're going to have to go over a lot of area that you can't ink.
Well, I hear the people in the crowd cheering. One of the most notable games of Splatoon ever played was on this exact map and mode. The score went from 11 to 7 to 5. It's a very difficult path that you have to take right through the middle, but when all those specials are concentrating in the same area, you never know what's going to happen.
You've got Set to Destroy X in the green, taking on the Back Squids in the blue or purple, how you see it. And Fuzzy going down, but then Kaito getting splatted as well too, as Echo rolling with the heavy splatling here. And Ashley, nobody's really grabbed that Rainmaker quite yet. You want to be careful when you get your hand in the cookie jar. Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, you can see Echo being a little bit more conservative because obviously you don't want to be a heavy splatling down, especially on this map.
4:15 left in this one, and it's 3-1 on the field. Back Squids, you figure this is the time to grab that Rainmaker and make a little push. And they've got it in their possession. You've got an Ink Storm and a Baller being deployed as well, too. And that's that communication we've talked about here, 9. And you see Back Squids really trying to have a coordinated effort as Majin hanging out in the back with a little bit of protection and that Rainmaker.
Gonna opt to use that Stingray now, and there's the counter Stingray. We talked about the cat and mouse game that gets played there. Kyo had just enough time to respawn. I know he went down there, but this is a much better look, though they are 3 down. But again, 3 down on the other side as well. This one might be a stalemate here at 62.
You've got some Back Squids super jumping to Kaito's position. They're able to burst the shield on the Rainmaker, but there comes that Toxic Mist and a curling bomb followed by an auto bomb and a nice splat done right there. As you see that 52 Gal Deco taken out, but Echo once again trying to build the lead. Got the Rainmaker, has a route, but no, finally getting splatted. But you look at the score advantage, and the Back Squids with a huge advantage early on here, Ashley, 29-0.
Yeah, I mean, this is a point where they could very easily say, okay, let's just play hard defense and keep STDX away from us at all costs.
Wit trying to go up that back ramp, however, met with a splat bomb. It seems like the Back Squids are sniffing out what he's trying to do. Wit trying to get a splat, waiting for more help from his teammates. You see Kyo trying to come on over, a splat for splat between Kaito and Fuzzy, and now we've got 3-3. Oh, the Stingray taking things out, playing that defensive position as we talked about, 9.
Very scary. Kyo was able to take that one down, and Hexen gonna jump in. They're doing just enough on defense. I cannot stress to you how close this is to going the other way. Incredible defense right here. That's why the Stingray is so powerful and why it's so difficult to move forward on this map.
Let's blow in the cartridge and reset the Rainmaker as it gets put back to the middle of the stage here. 65-29 advantage. You see Set to Destroy X. They're down right now, 2-1. They've got the advantage, though, trying to get this third and decisive match. Oh, Echo getting splattered right here by Hexen, and Hexen's gonna go ahead and take that Rainmaker. You see 4-1 on the field. Here's the chance for Set to Destroy if they want. Let's see if the Back Squids can replicate that wonderful defense they had. Hexen getting splatted in the alley. 57-29, a minute 55 left in this one. And Ashley, what can you say about the defensive presence we're seeing from the Back Squids?
I mean, they're doing a great job of holding back just far enough to stay out of range and being able to kind of use this choke point right here as a way to sort of keep everybody out.
Echo with the Rainmaker hanging out by his base, being told not to go backwards. Stingray trying to take things out. Echo trying to be very careful, goes through the great, nice maneuver, but he's met with a bucket of ink courtesy of Hexen. And now that's a difficult spot for that Rainmaker, 9, and you talked about the strategy about putting it there.
Well, one thing that can get there for sure is going to be this Baller of Hexen. He's going to try to distract him as long as he can so that the rest of his team can get in. They weren't able to get anybody down in that situation, so they're still going to be able to set themselves up and play defense. And more than anything, they're going to be able to run it back there, back to the middle. This has been a goal line stand for almost 3 minutes here.
Back Squids really holding on to their lead, 29-57, a minute left. 4-3 on the field, courtesy of the Back Squids. They've got the advantage. They're trying to force a Game 5. We see Majin right now swimming through the ink, peppering things with that Rapid Blaster, able to get 2 direct hits and takes out Wit. And it seems like at this point, Ashley, you've got to play more defense than offense if you're the Back Squids when you've got the advantage.
100%. I mean, at this point, you've got 40 seconds left in the game. All you have to do is just keep STDX away from that Rainmaker.
Hexen using the Baller, trying to take out a couple of members of Back Squids, unable to do that right there. Oh, but gets a splat on Majin. But Watson able to come in with that slosher, protect things. Here's one of the final pushes you're going to see from Set to Destroy X. They're able to get into enemy territory, but no, it gets stopped. 43-29. Oh! You also see the Stingray going down, and it is a 4-1 wipe temporarily, and it looks like the back squids, 9, are going to hold things down and try to force a game 5. That Inkjet defense's win goes down as well, too. And let's go ahead and serve ourselves up a game 5 as the back squids seemed like they were playing defense that entire matchup, 9.
And that's exactly what it was. And I can't tell you how many of those plays had to go exactly the way that they did. But you saw there at the very end, right when they needed that final bit of a defensive stop there, the Stingray was ready. The economy of specials doing just enough there. One that we didn't catch on camera, Majin, who had 22 splats in that game. It was another almost identical situation to what we saw from Pengit. 2 people rushed. He was able to get one of them down and force the trade on the other side. But there were so many instances of that in that match. That was so close.
Ashley, we have a game 5 in the semifinals. Winner take all to the grand finals tomorrow. What do you think is going through the mind of these players as you already face a very pivotal matchup in these semifinals?
I mean, you know, I feel like they have been in this situation so much that this is just another game. You know, it's like you get in there and they've played these modes so often. They are cool as a cucumber. They are ready to go in there. And I don't think they're going to really change anything. I think we're going to see the same loadouts, you know?
Well, our 5th game will be tower control. As you see the map we took here to get to this game 5. They've played over every game mode, but this will be the one that we repeat here. And as you look at the previous winner of tower control, that was set to destroy X here. And you figure, is there any particular team that you think has an advantage in this game mode, even if you look at the last result here, 9?
Well, that game went so close that one misplay either way would have changed the result. I think that the tower control was the exact same as well. I honestly can't make a pick right now.
You're seeing a lot of confidence, a lot of excitement from the back squids, especially that last game. They were able to stave off elimination here, Ashley. You've got a hungry, confident team trying to dethrone essentially the defending champions as we get set for our game 5 in our final semifinal matchup here. It'll be tower control on Ink Blot Art Academy. And what can you tell us about this stage here, Ash?
I mean, I love the Inkblot Art Academy because it has that tower right in the middle, and then there's a really interesting route for the tower for me. I mean, usually you would expect it to maybe go a little bit up and over, but no, it goes all the way around. So there are some specific choke points here that are going to make it very difficult for any team to finish tower control.
And 9, we see Echo bringing out that charger in this matchup. 3-2 on the map, and it's going to be the back squids in purple taking the early lead as they go ahead and take the tower to the first checkpoint.
And you see already Echo has that Stingray built up. If a Stingray goes and aims at the tower, he's going to be able to do something about it with a Stingray of his own. The pressure is coming in. Great job to both Hexen and Kyo, kind of pincering that one and shutting it down. That first checkpoint always goes quick. That second checkpoint is the one we're going to be looking for.
Wit getting a couple of splats right here. Keep an eye on him as we have, Wit once again serving up splats left and right. 100 to 70 early advantage for set to destroy X as they face the deficit, but they're back on the tower now. Back squid's gonna have to play a little bit more of that famed defense that we've seen so far in these semifinals. 3-2 on the map. You overlook things, but now it's 4-1-9, and here's where set to destroy X can try to seize the lead.
And look at how far Kyo has been pushed up there on that. You also see Pengit all the way pushed up. Fuzzy's back here on the tower, but all the pressure is back there. The backliners are not going to be able to make their presence felt. They're starting to trickle in. This one might go all the way.
Wit paving the way for Fuzzy in that tower as they get to the second checkpoint. A Stingray being deployed. 2-2 as we see a couple of members of Set to Destroy X go down, but his buddies are going to come and join him on the tower. Fuzzy hopping off the tower, gets the splat. But Echo with the snipe, and that's going to go ahead and clear things out, and it looks like you got a defensive stance by the back squids. However, Ashley, Set to Destroy X, the damage is done. They took the lead.
Indeed. I mean, and now it's going to take them even longer to just get to the middle of the map, which means they're just going to have to face off right in the center before they can make any progress.
Here come the back squids, though. They've got 2 specials charged up and all 4 of their players on the map. Set to destroy. They got to get a couple of specials ready to go if they want to play some defense. Tower getting reset, though. Stingray ready for Echo. Is Echo going to sit on the tower and use it? We've got a couple of members for Set to Destroy X with the higher ground. Echo hopping off the tower as they get set to approach the second checkpoint. It's now now 4-2 and 9. This is a chance where the back squids can put that offensive pressure on.
This is very scary. 3 people down. They're going to get through this checkpoint pretty easily here. That Stingray got taken down there. The counter Stingray coming in. Majin's got to get on the tower right now.
So huge.
That's going to be the lead. Another 2 go down. They're starting to trickle in. Kaito pushed up. Is this really going to happen?
Majin with the splat. It's 4-3 on the field. Third checkpoint reached by the back squids. They're trying to score a big upset, but they get defended upon. Set to destroy X, trying to push that tower back. 2:13 left in this one. Auto bomb trying to chase out. Splat here by Kyo. 4-3 on the field. Kyo trying to pave some way, trying to take out that charger of Echoes, trying to do some map control. Kyo with a couple of inkjet being deployed, gets the splat, and now you've got the tower moving. 4-3 advantage for Set to destroy here.
Kyo is an absolute machine. He took 3 people out. Then he went into the back line and started taking people out with that inkjet. He has not been splatted in about 30 seconds, which is a huge deal. And there he goes. He's down for the game.
It's 3-2 on the map. Set to destroy X on the tower. They're trying to get to that third and final checkpoint. They've got to get to 18 and tie things up. It's 4-4 on the map. Fuzzy trying to ride it. Fuzzy hopping off the tower. They got to ride it for a couple more seconds. Oh, but it gets cleared. The defensive stance by the back squids as they essentially wipe out Set to destroy X and 9. That might have been their best opportunity to mount the comeback.
That was their best opportunity. 20 points, and I'm running out of words right now. I'm running out of breath. I can't even pronounce my R's correctly right now. This is so intense here. They're going to have to get back mid-control, but if you're the back squids, you have to be patting yourself on the back. Everything was against you there, and you executed properly.
Back squids, they've got 3-3 on the field, but they do have a Stingray ready to go for Echo, trying to sit back there and control the map. We're at 49 seconds left. 20-18, advantage for the back squids. They were down 2-1, but can they score the upset? Oh, and Echo with the one-shot hit against Wit, taking him out. Gonna go ahead and super jump back to base, but you've got Set to destroy X. 2 specials and a 3-2 advantage. Kyo trying to pave some way. It's gonna come down to this, folks. 30 seconds left here, 9. What needs to be executed?
The Stingray coming out here, but it's coming out here as well, and the Stingray is now done. They're gonna need to get somebody else down there. It's gonna be the baller coming in as well. The last one is Kyo. Can Kyo save the game? And it's Watson once again!
Watson doing all things necessary to protect the house. 10 seconds left. Tower being taken back to the middle. Will this be the end for Set to destroy X? Will the back squids find their way in the championships? And it's in overtime at this point. Tower in the middle, it's not enough. And the back squids come from behind. 2-1 to get the victory. We've got controllers and cords flying everywhere as the victory goes to the back squids. They find themselves in the grand finals as they get set to take on the GG boys. And how about the defensive presence we saw throughout that match there, 9?
Clutch. That is the one word. I could say so many words right now, but clutch is the only one. I mean, you see it right here, the emotion coming out from the back squids there, knowing how very close that was, how many times they had to execute perfectly, and they did just enough to get those wins. They weren't pretty, but they still go in the win column.
And Ashley, we try to catch our breath here from everything we just saw. How about that moment when you thought Set to destroy X was gonna overcome and take the lead, but you get the perfect defensive stance? And what else can you say about Watson and what he was able to do?
Watson on that slosher was an absolute beast. I mean, that was just great play by him. And again, with them having so much experience at this level, it enabled them to not panic. When they were just 2 beats away from getting the lead, they kept their calm, they did their job, and that let them win.
And you see the joy and the emotion. How about a round of applause for Set to destroy X? Some very exciting games that we had here, but 9, let's take a look at a couple of replays that really decided this match. And you talk about back and forth and 2 teams that were really playing on an equal level throughout this entire semifinal. What are we seeing here as we almost saw the lead change?
Well, exactly that. We almost saw the lead change here once again. Set to destroy X did everything right. Hexen pushed up with that baller, but you saw there the Inkjet come in, did just enough to push the baller back that gave them enough room to push up there as they wanted to. Watson came in and cleaned up right there at the end. Kyo almost single-handedly brought that game back for them, put them in that great spot, but again, great players make great plays. And when it's a game that's like that, you just can't identify one play.
Competitive greatness, bringing your best when your best is needed, and Wadsum and the Back Squid's able to do that. They will find themselves in the finals against the GG boys. But let's go ahead and bring out the rest of our other teams that participated today, and the man himself, Mr. Nogami.
いや、興奮がちょっと収まらないですね。
I gotta get my emotions under control here.
決勝進出を決められたチームの皆さん、おめでとうございます。
Congratulations to our two teams who will be proceeding to the finals.
どのチームも本当に素晴らしい戦いぶりで、ちょっと僕も舞台裏で興奮して叫び声を上げてしまいました。
But I also want to give congratulations to all our teams who gave us a splat-tacular performance today. Watching backstage, I couldn't help but screaming and shouting along with you.
ありがとうございます。サンキュー。会場の皆さんや、あとインターネットで中継をご覧になっている皆さん、本当に応援ありがとうございました。
Thank you, everybody here watching in the theater, for all your support, as well as all of you watching online at home.
皆さんの声援がきっと選手たちに勇気を与えたんじゃないかと思います。
I'm sure it was your cheers of support that spurred our players on and gave them the bravery they needed to complete their task.
明日はいよいよ決勝戦です。
Tomorrow, we are facing the grand finals.
明日も楽しみにしてください。そして応援をお願いします。
We hope you're looking forward to it, and we're looking forward to your continued support.
Thank you very much. See you tomorrow.
Let's give it up one more time for all of our teams and Mr. Nogami. The grand finals, you can catch that at 1 p.m. tomorrow. We will have the GG boys from Japan taking on the Back Squids from Europe. For myself, Ashley, and Nine, thank you so much again for joining us. Don't forget all the action tomorrow. Until then, stay tuned in to Nintendo Direct and Treehouse Live for more great Nintendo content all this week. The Splatoon 2 World Championship Grand Finals tomorrow at 1 p.m. here at the Belasco Theater in Los Angeles. We'll see you then.